Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about what type of scanner you should get. Before we get started, make sure you guys hit the like button. It takes you 1 second. Just take this moment to hit the like button. It's free, guys, and it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. So please do that and leave me a comment and let me know what you guys like about the video. And just leave a comment in general. That helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. I want to get the message out to more people and get more viewers to this video. So stuff like that really does help. So thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get started. My philosophy with everything I do here on YouTube, guys, is to teach you guys how to fish. You guys know the saying, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man a fish, he'll eat for his entire life. So basically what I try to give you guys is my philosophy on choosing tools and just running a business and in general, like the way I think about things, so that you guys can adopt that and you guys can use it and personalize it and use it to whenever you're choosing a scanner. Let's just say, okay, let's just say I said, you have to buy this scanner because it's the best. You wouldn't know why I'm recommending it. I want you guys to know why I'm recommending something and how I think about things, so that like if you look into it and you just don't like that brand for whatever reason, you're like, okay, I don't like that brand that necessarily recommending, but I know how he came to choose that one. So I'm going to take the same criteria that he's using to this other brand that has everything he's saying and that has this other feature I really like about it too. So I'm going to buy this one. You guys don't understand what I'm saying? So in this video, I'm not only going to tell you what scanners to buy, I'm going to tell you guys why I choose those scanners. In the description below, there's going to be some scanners from Amazon that I think you guys can pick up and use. And I chose them based on this criteria. So let's go ahead and get started. So the way that you want to choose a scanner, guys, is very simple. You wanted to do 5 main things. You wanted to talk to a bunch of different makes and models. So if you're in America, we're working on all American cars, European cars, we're working on Asian cars. And then we're doing some British cars as well, like Jaguars and Volvos. You wanted to be able to scan any type of check engine light that the car has. You wanted to scan ABS codes as well. You wanted to scan body module codes as well, like anything to do with the interior, like airbag lights, SRS lights, like the seat module. Sometimes we'll have check engine lights or lights, warning lights, whatever. You want to be able to read those and see what sensors messed up in the interior. And then the last thing you want to do is read transmission codes, because some cars, especially European cars, they won't have transmission codes pop up like they would in an American car. On an American car, if the transmission has an issue, the car will throw out a check engine light. Even though the transmission has nothing to do with the engine and emissions, it'll still throw out a check engine light, right? But a lot of European cars, they have their own computer for the actual transmission. So if you don't have the scanner that will be able to read that transmission module, you won't even know the car has a transmission code, because it won't show up on the check engine light codes. Does that make sense? So that's why you need a scanner that does all of that. So when you pull, the warning light record out of the OBD2 port, you'll see, okay, it has like check engine light, it has a body module code, like the airbag sensor on the steering wheel is bad, and then the transmission has a code, and then, okay, cool, all right, cool, it's gonna need this and that. Now, a lot of times, a lot of manufacturers won't give you this final piece. You want the scanner to be able to read PIDs, or what PID is, like all the information from the sensors that the car has, right? So fuel trims, O2 sensors, and whatever other like information that the car will give you. A lot of times, a lot of these manufacturers won't give you that information unless you have the scanner specific to that car, because they're not required to. Like a lot of Fords will give you O2 sensor readings and like fuel trims on certain cars, but not on another make, right? Even if it's the same year, because they don't have to on that one. And for whatever reason, they just don't. And that's why we have the whole right to repair thing going on right now, because the manufacturers don't want to give us that information and don't want like regular scanners like from Innova to be able to pull that information out, because they want to have a monopoly on the information. Because if they have a monopoly, we won't be able to talk to the car and diagnose it and fix it. So because they want the customer to go to the dealership to get that work done. So some cars, you do have to buy the scanner specific to it, or else you won't be able to talk to the car. For example, like VACCOM or VCDS from Volkswagen and Audi. Those, you have to buy the scanner to be able to pull a lot of the information out. unless you have like certain scanners that can do it. But for the most part, you have to buy the specific scanner for that car. Okay, so that's the way I choose my scanners. It has to have those 5 things for it to be a scanner that I would even consider buying. Okay, so normally those range between $150, $200 to around $600, right? That's normally the price range that you'll be looking at. There's some scanners out there that do a lot more than just that, but that's like the bare minimum for me to want to buy a scanner. Okay, because when I first bought my scanners, guys, I didn't know anything about anything. I was working, I was working at a shop, and then like the only people that were there were like my master techs. There was no YouTube. This was back in 06, 07, and my Snap-on guy. My older mechanics, they were like, they didn't want to work on anything modern. Now it's like it's an 06 car, right? But back in the day, like nobody wanted to touch those cars because they were all coming out with new stuff. And I had my Snap-on guy that would promise me the world. My first scanner that I ever bought was an Ethos, and he promised me that this would give me the winning lottery tickets. It would tell me my future, and it would fix the car by just plugging it in. The car would magically be fixed. And he said that for the price of this scanner, I would be able to diagnose and fix a car. And guess how much it cost me? $1,200. This scanner cost me. It basically does ABS codes, transmission codes, some body module codes, check engine lights, and it gives me some PIDs, and it'll graph. That's what this scanner does. Then I was like, okay, I used that for a long time, but then I realized that I needed a bidirectional scanner, a scanner that will give me all the information that I needed and all the codes that I needed from a bunch of different makes and models. But I also needed a scanner that will be a bidirectional scanner to control certain controllers on the car and sensors and motors, and just talk to the car and be bidirectional, so I can control the car with the scanner. So I went out and bought a Solus Pro. This one's updated to 2016. That was the last time I updated this, because normally you don't really work on brand new cars. Like 2020 cars, we're not going to be working on them until like 2 or 3 years later after they come out. So right now, everybody should start getting in 2017, 2018 cars into their shops. So mine, I never upgraded it because every time I upgraded it was like $600, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So, but yeah, I bought this Solus Pro because it does everything I just said. Talks to the car, gets me all the codes that I need from all the modules, transmission, everything on a bunch of makes and models. And it's a bidirectional scanner, so I'm able to actuate certain sensors and controllers and everything. I'm able to like talk to the car and control it from here. Okay. Then I realized that I needed to buy a scope. A scope is basically a really, really, really fast digital multimeter, because a DMM, it'll give you ohms and it'll give you like voltage, but for the most part, it'll only give you 1 volt. The range will be like in 1 volt increments most of the time. But you need a DMM because a lot of the sensors you're working on in vehicles, they have very, very, very low voltage, so you can't even see it on a DMM. Like if you like touch the leads to a sensor, it won't even show voltage, but there'll be voltage there, but it just be very, very low. So you need a scope. And so I bought the Vantage Pro because this is I bought it used, and it's a very nice scope and it works well. It gives me everything I need. It has a lot of information that is really nice because it tells you how to pin certain sensors to test it. It gives you like based on that year, make, and model of the car and what sensor you're working on, it'll set up the scanner to give you the correct scales. So it'll tell you like, okay, a cam sensor on a 2002 Chevy Suburban with a 5.8 or 5.7, the scale should be like between 0.0 to like 1, and then it'll like increment it, and then it'll give you the speed on where you'll see that voltage graph. Does that make sense? Sorry, I'm not Scanner Danner, guys. Scanner Danner is like a diagnostician teacher, so he knows the specifics of this, but that's basically what the Vantage does. So it gives you you just type in whatever you need, and then it tells you exactly how to pin sensors, what colors, how to do it, and then it gives you the graph and gives you examples of good graph, and then gives you the graph coming out of the car itself. Okay, that's why I really like it. So if you have these 3 scanners, you'll pretty much be able to do anything on a car. The Veris, like the Snap-on Veris, is basically the Solace Pro and the Vantage Pro in one. That's what the Veris is. When it first came out, I started messing with the Veris at UTI. It was like 06, 07 when they first came out, and they were super expensive. Like brand new scanner, everybody was super excited about it because like it had the capability to go online. It can do everything you need a scanner to do. It could read any type of car, codes and modules and everything like that. It was a bidirectional scanner, and it has a scope built into it, so you can use it as a scope. You can use it as anything. So the Veris was like, for a long time it was like top of the line. Then Pico came out with their own. Innova's coming out with their own stuff. There's a lot of brands out there that are coming out with really nice stuff that can talk to a bunch of cars, and it can do bidirectional work, it could do scope work, it could do pretty much everything. So in the description below, I'll give you guys some examples. But as far as a scanner, like I said, that's all you're gonna need out of it. You need it to do those 5 things. Then you need a bidirectional scanner. Then you need a scope. Once you guys are getting into at first, you guys just need to be able to read check engine lights, right? After that, you're gonna need to get a bidirectional scanner and then the scope. By the time you get a scope, you're already doing diagnostics, like heavy diagnostic work. So that's what you're gonna be doing as a mechanic, okay? If you just want a basic scanner to be able to just read some check engine lights, you don't need a crazy expensive scanner, guys. You can go on eBay and pick up, not eBay, Amazon and pick one up for like 40, 50 bucks. It'll read pretty much any check engine light you have, and it's 40, 50 bucks, right? Super tiny one, you're good to go. If you wanna do diagnostic work, you're gonna need everything I just said, okay? So there's no in between. There's no, I'm kinda gonna dabble in diagnostics. No, it's either one or the other. Either you just get a regular scanner to pull whatever codes are on the car, and then you can like go on Google or Identifix and see what the common fixes are for those. And then you can kind of like guess your way around it, which a lot of people do. 95% of the entire industry, that's basically what they do. They pull the code, and then they go on Google or Identifix, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, it's an O2 sensor code, and then on this car, it's normally the O2 sensor, so let me just replace the sensor. That's what 95% of the industry does. If you want to get into the crazy diagnostic stuff, it's not crazy. If you want to do your job, you're going to need a scanner that can actually pull codes out of all the modules. Then you're going to need it to be able to activate certain sensors. You're going to need a scope to be able to check those sensors. And then that's how you do it. That's how you diagnose a check engine light. But yeah, so there's no in between. Either you want to go like just a basic style, which is like a $50 scanner is fine, or you want to go and get like a really nice like Veris, where it has everything you need in one. Okay, but that's basically what you're going to be needing out of a scanner, guys. I got duped into buying a cheap little scanner, thinking it was going to do everything I needed to do, and then I would like hook up to certain cars, and it wouldn't even talk to the car, or it would only give me like basic check engine lights, but it wouldn't give you ABS codes, right? So that's how I pick my scanners, guys, and I think that's how you guys should pick them as well. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me I'm crazy, and no, you don't need that much thing, blah, blah, blah. Comment section below, I love to hear it all. Thanks so much for watching, like always. I hope this video helped you in some way. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
Today I'm talking about this racket. Yeah, see this guy?
Think that again. Just fuck around, move around.
It's toe time! Toe time!
Yep.